Good evening and welcome everybody to the regular Gilbert Council meeting of October 28, 2025. Meeting called to order at 6 o'clock. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilor Bertocci.
Present.
Present. Mayor Overstreet.
Here.
Councilor Skirvin.
Here.
Councilor Thompson.
Here. We have a quorum. We can have a meeting. Next, could everybody help me with the Pledge of Allegiance and rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I believe we have some additions to the agenda.
Carl, would you like to recognize the rock bridge under the mayor's comments?
Yeah, okay. I'll do that then.
And we would like to have a Gilbert Casey Gavin comment. We'd like to have a line to change our meeting from 11 to the 12th.
Because of Veterans Day, and we need to add a line for a town hall meeting on November 19th for the developers who are interested in building workforce housing in Gilbert.
I'm gonna bring that under my meeting, under my...
Okay, well, I'll let you take both those in.
Okay. Anything else?
We need to add the labor contract
Oh,
negotiations.
yes, the dates. Meeting for November 3rd and November 4th is 6 o'clock.
Yep, and that will be under item F.
Okay, anything else?
So I have.
Well, actually, we only have 3 additions to the agenda to vote on and 2 more under my business. Okay. Can you get a motion to approve them? Additions? We have a motion. Moved by Councilor Pondus, supported by Councilor Bertocci to add those 3 items to the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. The motion carries. Okay, we have a pretty well attended meeting tonight. Can we make sure, remind everybody to talk into the mic so they can hear us back there? All right, we have a consent agenda. We have a normal council meeting of a regular meeting, actually of 10:14. The working session minutes of 10:14 and a special session of 10:24 minutes. And we have some library board minutes. And I guess we can approve them, but I know I did one clarification in their council. I want to make sure that people understand. If you read the library board minutes, I did talk to Sue about the minutes that in 2022, we upped their budget from $103,000 to $108,000. And I noticed in 2023, it was taken away, it was down back to $103,000. So, this goes up and down. In 2024, it's at $103,000, but I'm gonna try with this next budget if we can get it back up to 108. I don't know how we can do it, but I didn't say I'm not a gambling man, that I was going to do it. I'm gonna try, but that's the discussion I had on that thing. And so unfortunately, it went down.
Do you know which set of minutes you're talking about, Carl, for a correction?
It was from September 8th, under the director's report at the very end.
All right, other than that, I'm good to go. Everybody else good to go?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda with the deletion of the statement in the September 8th library board meeting.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilor Pontonen. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. All right, public input tonight. In case there's any public input, we gotta try to keep it at 3 minutes, get your point across the best you can. Now we're at public input. Does anybody wish to address the council? All right, state your name and an issue, please. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. My name is Scott Ankley, and I've lived in Gilbert for just short of a decade. Our home is just up the way. It's the one often overly so with elaborate holiday decorations and frequently a large group of neighborhood kids running around and making a whole bunch of noise. It's around the corner there. My family and I moved here to follow my career in the summer of 2016. At the time, we did not know much at all about the prospective communities we might buy our home and build a life in. We feel that we are extremely blessed to have it landed in Gilbert. The community has a distinct character that has retained some of the very best parts of small-town life from a time that seems to have passed by in much of the world surrounding us. I know, trust, and care about my neighbors in a way that my girls and I feel readily reciprocated. We rarely walk our dog or go to get the mail without running into someone that we are happy to see and speak to. This community is special. Part of what makes it so is the team of dedicated professionals that show up every day to keep it safe. Professionals that built and continue to build their own lives beside us. These same folks are also our neighbors and friends. We are truly in community here in a way that is becoming less prevalent in many other places. It is a unique strength that we can only maintain when working together in earnest. Any alternative to the current situation where we might look to people or organizations that are not largely part of our community they protect will be a loss to us all. I speak to this point in particular with no small amount of, I feel, hard-earned pride and ownership. The career my family followed me up here for, the one my wife put her trust in me to pursue, is as a firefighter and a paramedic. I have the privilege to be a part of the team that provides primary emergency medical coverage to our community. Speaking to that fact, an absolutely essential part of successful patient outcomes is who shows up first and how quickly they are able to do so. In the best of conditions, which by the nature of our profession are rarely given, it takes about 10 minutes to reach our town center via ambulance. This may not seem like a very long time on its face, but when we are put up against the most acute emergencies, every minute can make a difference. For example, every 1 minute a person is in cardiac arrest without high-quality CPR, they lose approximately 10% of brain function. This happens because the oxygen in their blood is not being circulated. With that in mind, a 10-minute wait for an ALS ambulance could be interpreted as a lifetime. This can only be mitigated by the quick actions of high-quality responders. For us to do our best work and affect the highest rate of positive outcomes, we need exceptional partners in care, providing life-saving measures as rapidly as possible. When it comes to our community, we have just that in spades here in Gilbert. There are our very own Gilbert Police Department working in tandem with our first responders. Without the unique depth of staffing and 24-hour coverage our officers provide us, I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that we would experience much worse outcomes in our community. Any plan or agreement moving forward that does not prioritize their presence, proximity, and livelihoods is not in the best interest of any of us. To continue sustaining this high level of community policing, the partnership we have with Biwabic is essential. I know it's just over 3 minutes. Only when we combine our means can we produce a service that would otherwise be beyond both of our towns. I understand that the last several years have not been optimal or fair in how support for this has been split. I understand that this council and the good people over in Biwabic have been working very hard to rectify that. I also appreciate the work that you all are doing is not easy and is sometimes very tense. For my part, I thank you all. Our counselors, our mayor, of course, chief teacher. I promise it is no small part of your community that sees and appreciates what you do. Even when we might disagree, I believe we all care about each other here. Thank you for showing up, particularly when it's difficult. To my point, I have read the expired agreement and the current one several times over. While the new one is not everything we may want as the city of Gilbert, it seems to be an earnest effort by the city of Biwabic to meet us in the middle. It also provides ample mechanisms to address possible unforeseen issues in the budget moving forward. It appears to me to be offered in good faith and is a great deal better than what we have been working with the expired contract. I would ask, as your neighbor and your constituent, as well as an active partner in our community's public safety, that you accept it. Thank you for your time this evening. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns surrounding this, or to just chat with me if you run into me in my yard or getting my mail. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Definitely take all your points under consideration. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Brandy Lotiger. I wanted to attend today's meeting because I'm also an elected official, so I know what it's like to have meetings and have somebody show up to a meeting thinking that they know everything just by attending that one meeting. And I just want to reassure you that I'm not here to do that. I'm here to learn more, and I'm here to support our police department. I do have two questions because I've been seeing things online. Two questions that I have is, one, who is responsible for making sure that the contracts are valid, that there's a valid contract? Second question is, whose responsibility is it to have eyes on who is paying bills and who isn't paying bills, and what the budget is and what's happening there? So, whose responsibility is that?
I'll try to answer those two questions. This is a contract like 2015 or so, 2017. I'm going to point no fingers at, he just came in, Mike came in a year ago, so definitely it's not his fault, but we've been 8 or 9 clerks since 2016, 15, or whenever that first contract was made with Biwabic. So those are the folks that we depend upon up here for the right figures. And then if they don't get paid, then they let us know, and then we get the attorney on to fix the situation. And the other 4 years that I've been here, in that period of time, that never happened. That the bills the payments were being made or anything. And plus, I was told by the other previous clerks that everything was good, and we were in the black, not in the red at all, at any point. And that was the conversation I had with other clerks. Now, 2 years later, after I've been gone, different story, which we're trying to put all the pieces together, okay? And what we're trying to do here as a council now is not even to go revisit any of that anymore and try to get to a right now, today. And I think we've got real close to do that right now, and then it'll not happen again. All the loopholes will not be dropped. The ball won't be dropped. We've got contingency clauses in the contract that if this is not met by this date, this will happen, blah, blah, blah. So those types of things will not happen again with this new contract. And Biwabic is agreeable with that. The only thing difference I think we have now is our monetary difference. And I think we can work that out.
I'm hopeful that you guys can move forward, and moving forward with our Gilbert Police Department staying in Gilbert. I mean, collaborating, the world the way it is today, we all have to collaborate together. So I understand working with another agency, but not having the Gilbert Police Department here, and not saying that that's what your intention is or anything like that, but there is so many times that I've had to call the Gilbert Police Department for public safety issues. My dad's fallen, and I just couldn't imagine not having a quick response time for those emergencies. Like last night, 12:30, my dad called me. I thought he had fallen, and he didn't, but I didn't answer the phone. First thing I did was drive down here to see if there was a police car, and there was, because I was going to come in and ask them if they had to come and help my dad. So long story short, there's so many times that I've been able to rely on them for the quick response. And I see their cars here. I know that they're here. I see them driving around. I see them parked at the end of the street. They are patrolling here. And I just wanted to come and voice my opinion today, because I advocate for young people to come and voice their opinion and stand up for what they believe in. And I wanted to make sure that I was here to support our police department. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody on the council wish to? I don't want to speak out of line, but did anyone in council correct me if I'm wrong?
Not really a correction, but I do want to speak a little bit more, because to the mayor's point, in this contract, we do have two backstops that have been put in to ensure that we don't get into this situation again. One is essentially a late payment. We're all familiar with them. If we miss a credit card payment, we have to pay a late fee. That's essentially been put in. The other is unfunded mandates. There's a lot of times the state does things that we're not in our control. We have a backstop on that now to say that we can go to Boabic and ask for additional funds that's not in their budget. So those two things were not in past contracts. We made sure that we rolled that into, and Boabic is in agreement with those. So.
You know, as an elected official, myself, I often rely on those people that are in the positions, like teachers and principals. I rely on their expertise, because we're just everyday people trying to do a job and give back to our communities. I want to make sure, I hope that you guys are listening to what our chief of police has to offer in suggestions, guidance, advice, because he knows what he's doing. You know, this is his area. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else?
My name's Robert Kutze. I've served as mayor of council for 8 years up there, so I know what you guys are going through. Just a quick little story. About on the way down, my daughter works at the library. There was a bomb threat called in a couple of years ago. She was scared beyond belief. She hid in the basement on the phone to 911. Chelsea was there within 2-3 minutes, calmed her down. I couldn't imagine what my daughter would go through if we're waiting for the sheriff's department. That could be 2 minutes out, could be 20 minutes out. We've seen what's happened with that in other departments or towns. So it was just kind of a quick story there for the police department. I think we do need the Biwabic contract. That also helps us keep a full-time staff here. Whether there's one here, they might just be in Biwabic. At least we have 24-hour coverage. It also helps with our budget. I've been through that many times. One thing I say about Ty, he's always handled his budget with great care. I've worked with him for 8 years on that. We have a very well-respected police department. My neighbor, I have a lake place in Cass County. One of my neighbors works for the BAC, and he has nothing positive, nothing negative about Ty. He's one of the straightest shooters. My other neighbor's a deputy of Itasca County. Same thing. I don't think Ty gets enough credit in his police department for what they do. I always joke that he'd make a good clerk because he always watched his budget. I've argued a few times where if he needs something, we got to get it. There's been many times that he's put stuff off, and I think we could have handled it, but he's always watched his budget. Basically, that's my biggest concern is we need our police department. They're well respected. I don't know what the issue with Biwabic was 100%. I haven't talked to Ty. I haven't talked to any of the counselors. I just kind of seen Mr. Skrbik's thing on Facebook, and I wanted to come down and voice my concerns. My daughter's still working, so I wanted to speak on her behalf also for her support of the police department. But other than that, I'd like to thank you for your time, and a big thank you to the police department for making us proud.
Thank you, Mr. Christie. Have any more? Joel? Ty, why don't you give him mic over there? Thank you. Joel, why don't you scoot out a little bit closer?
I'll take care of that in just a second, Mayor.
Okay.
Yep. Right now, right here, my name is Joe Percott. I live at 120 Ohio Avenue West, apartment number 108 of the Broadview Manor. Officer, teacher, the chief, Officer Chicano, and every other police officer that's ever worked for the city of Gilbert I've been here for 33 years. So count how many officers have been through this town in that time. They've come to my house when I've needed them right away. And because of the condition that I have, thank you to the good Lord that there's people like Chief Teacher here to help me. He's helped me professionally, he's helped me personally, and so have the people that have worked under him. And it's time for the city of Gilbert to stop looking to other towns to pay everything that Gilbert wants. Gilbert has no tax base. You have no businesses. The best thing you've got going for you is the police department, and that's because of the leadership of Chief Teacher. Because attitude reflects leadership. There's no better police department in the state, and I'll put my word on that value up against anybody here or from International Falls down to Zimmerman. If there were a police Olympics, I would put my money on the Gilbert Police Department, not only personally, but professionally. Because if you happen to see, and I know that you're not supposed to wear a hat during a council meeting, but I want to show you a hat that says, Gilbert Police Department. Isn't that kind of cool? I'm not a member of their department, but because they care about me and I care about them, every officer that is on the current staff and the staff that is no longer here pitched in and got me a custom-made hat with my name on the back. Who else would do that? You show me a police department for any town that would do that for a fat guy in a wheelchair that's got an attitude. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't back the chief and the Gilbert Police Department, Gilbert is losing more than it will ever get in return from any other services or any other leadership. So I just want you to know that the citizens of Gilbert are watching, and I'm watching. I often joke with Ty that when I came to Gilbert over 30 years ago, he told me that the only place I could live was the Broadview Manor apartment. And many of you see me sitting out front here in the summertime when the weather permits. Sometimes Ty jokes that he has to chain me to the flagpole. So because if I sit somewhere else, it just might be a violation of my probation. And you know what? That just goes to show you that he sees me. He knows I see him. I see his officers. They see me. They make me feel part of a community that I will tell you. I'm not from Gilbert, and I'm proud of that fact that I'm not from Gilbert. But it's nice to know the people that I care about on the police department recognize me, my needs, make sure I'm taken care of, and I will do my best, officer teacher, to help you, to take care of you, and to serve and protect you any way that I can. All you got to do is ask, because how many police officers and chiefs would come up and make sure that a young man that can't walk and chew gum at the same time has a microphone so that his voice can be heard. Thank you to Ty, his officers. God bless them all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Percott. Thank you, Joe. Okay, do we have any more? One more?
My name is Joseph Polis. I used to be on the council for 6 years. I've got two questions. One, hopefully you guys vote the right way tonight as far as the contract goes with Wabic, because it relies on the police force and everything and their livelihoods. And two, also the fire department's not been talked about as well. They're very important in this town as well. So yeah, I'm going to advocate for both of them anytime I need to. But here's the thing. You guys are also talking about the ABDO whatever thing that has screwed with every single one of their paychecks for, I don't know, all year long. It cost $153,000 of wasted money on a thing that doesn't work. So these officers are very loyal to this town and they're underpaid. And if you keep screwing with them, they're not going to be here very longer. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Polis. Yep. Still, anybody else before I move on?
My name is Angie Vandehey. I've been a resident since 2018, and I've also worked in town and gone to school here, so I've been in Gilbert most of my life. I also have a little different relationship with the police department, besides being a resident and needing to call and have them come and help out from time to time. I also worked in a capacity where I supported them with their law enforcement, their record systems, for over a decade, I think it was. So I've seen behind the scenes how hard Ty and the officers here work to deliver the services that we need.
Move a little closer to the mic, please.
Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, I don't have as well put together of a statement as everybody else, but the value that we have in our local community law enforcement, that was one of the reasons that I had signed on back in the day to provide the support to the police departments in the area, was so that we had quality law enforcement services provided. And I remember when we first extended to Wabic, I remember when we had a police chief in Wabic, and then we no longer did. And yes, we need to consolidate our resources and make the best for the financial impacts of those things. And I don't know all the details that has been discussed in these closed sessions, but I really feel and hope that you vote to support this new contract in the terms that Wabic is asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, no one else? I'll just say that thanks for all the comments. We do have this on the agenda tonight, you see it on. But before that, council is going to go into a closed session before we adjourn this meeting tonight and discuss the Wabic contract some more. And we'll be leaving the room and into a conference room, and we're going to come back and we may come back to make a motion to approve something or not, or table it some more, because we have until December to get back to Boabic. That's what Boabic has given us the date they want by. But I can't tell you what's going to materialize in our closed meeting. Again, we'll recess. We'll go to a closed meeting at the end of our meeting here, close to our end, because we have to come back and adjourn this meeting. But we will be able to make a motion one way or the other if we want, or table still. So that could be. I don't know what's going to happen in our discussion. We could come back here and make a motion to approve, reject, or table some more. So we're working on it. So I'll just let you know. You'll have to stay here, and we'll go there, we'll come back. Then we'll adjourn this meeting completely. That's later on. All right, no other comments? Thank you again, everybody, for your comments. Get the council, mayor, and councilors. Councilor Potocznik?
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Redpany? Oh my gosh, we almost forgot. I'm sorry. Let's go do it. We have a new counselor, and he's already been sworn in, but we want to formally do that. Like we all have been formally. He's been sworn in a week ago. So, counselor, clerk, please go by the flag.
Hereby solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of City Council for the City of Gilbert, County of St. Louis, State of Minnesota, as my knowledge and ability.
Thank you. Everybody got to get a formal introduction to the table here. He's already been sworn in. Second time now. Councilor Redpany, do you have anything to address the council with, or
Not this time.
not this time? Thank you. Councilor Skirbick.
The only thing that I have is for people, just a reminder that this weekend on Sunday is daylight saving time. Try to make sure that your fire detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors are working. Winter time's coming around. One of the best things you can do in terms of saving, being safe in your own home is to make sure that you have working smoke detectors and fire detectors. So take this opportunity to check that item off your box and just be safe.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Pontonen.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming here tonight. And I wish we could attendance like this at every meeting. You know, this is the one subject is not only the police. I'm thanking everybody for being here tonight. And I wish we'd have this attendance at every one of our meetings, because there are other important matters besides the police that we deal with at every meeting. So thank you again for attending, and please attend more of our meetings, please. We need the support. We need the backing of the citizens of this town. We've lost all our volunteers and everything else. We need people to help us out. So sign up for a board or whatever. In any way you can help, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pontonen. I have a couple items, need a couple motions passed here. Number one, I'm calling for proclamation by the city for calling November 7th as the Rock Ridge Day of Rock Ridge for the girls tennis team, Class A champions of Double A, calling that as a day of recognition for Rock Ridge girls on November 7th. And on that day, the mayors of Virginia and Evelyn are also calling a proclamation for their cities. And we want to get the police departments and the fire departments together to escort those girls through the city of Gilbert, through the city of Evelyn, the city of Virginia. My job here is to proclaim that day as the Rock Ridge Girls AA Tennis Team Championship Recognition Day and congratulate them on that well done that they did for the city of all our cities here that are part of the Rock Ridge School District. So that's going to be their day. I'm proclaiming that day as Rock Ridge Girls Tennis Championship Day. And I need a motion to okay that proclamation and okay that the police departments of the three communities, plus Fails involved, I believe, get together and schedule some kind of a escort parade for them through the four communities. I'll step off the chair and make that motion anyway, so I can get support. And
I'll second.
The mayor stepped up the chair to make the motion for support, and Councilor Skirbeck has supported that. Is there any more discussion on it? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Council. Second thing, and I'm calling a town hall meeting, not a council meeting, a town hall meeting for November 19th. It's a Wednesday night between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock here. And the purpose of that meeting is a town hall, like I say, for all residents of Gilbert, not a council meeting. I will have a couple of developers here. They'll have easels with pictures of developments they are proposing to do in Gilbert here. Some good, exciting things. I want the public to look at them. They're looking at putting some housing on the second parking lot in the Anthem area on Alaska Avenue there. They like to buy that piece of property. They originally wanted to put it on their property. Some of these developers own Zenith properties up there, Summit View Estates. And they wanted to put some housing on their property. And they went to IRRB to get some funding help. And City of Gilbert, they needed us to be their fiscal agent for the IRRB, and we okayed that to do that for them. IRRB would give us the money, then we give it to them on their property. But then I showed them some property in Gilbert that has available for Gilbert property, and they came back and they changed their mind about doing it on their property. They wanted to do it on city property. So I'm glad they changed their mind. So now the council is going to be working with them with a development proposal agreement. Once we find back from the IRRB if they're going to fund them in December meeting of the IRRB board. So, but in the meantime, I've talked to them and they agreed to have a town hall meeting here to show the people of Gilbert what they're proposing for Gilbert. And one of them is that Anthem parking lot. They would like to buy that from the city and put in 18 to 40 units of these houses, which you will see that night in picture form. And also, they're also proposing another development behind recycling in the bus garage, from there down to the shoreline of the Orbegon pit. Another huge housing development. So they're going to show you both of these developments. And I hope people from Gilbert attend that town hall meeting so this council can make a better decision when it comes to our part of this project, when it comes to our part, so we know how the people of Gilbert feel about these projects. and we don't have to guess how to make our decision moving forward with these projects. So I hope you come. We're going to be advertising it a little bit and also putting on the board out here. So pass the word. But then, first of all, we need a council motion. Steppy, I'm going to step up the chair to make that mayoral's town hall meeting for November 19th between 5 and 7 o'clock, and hope I get council support.
The mayor stepped up, the chair made the motion?
Yep.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, council. Thank you. Mike, you'll take care of the paper, newspaper, and advertising, and at least one or two times.
Okay.
And put it out the board. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go into boards and staff and board. Fire chief is not here. City attorney. Ryan.
There's no formal report, but I am happy to field questions if the council has. Sorry for being late, Mayor.
No problem. We understood. We were told about it that you'd be late now. I know. That's the thing. Council had Rudy had something, or Bob had something. No, council.
Is that under miscellaneous, or do we ask him?
Yeah. You can ask him here. Yeah.
We have a cease and desist for 515 Minnesota Avenue West. The garage. That's too high. Okay, he has completed his roof tin, so he has not stopped his. Is there anything we can do besides that?
Essentially, what we would do is start a civil enforcement action and begin with an injunction.
I think we need to move forward on that because he has not stopped. According to building codes, it's really not a building codes, you don't have.
And I would concur. I mean, I think we need to get that action to him before the end of the week.
Do you need a formal motion for that?
We would need a motion authorizing me to move forward because it will involve an expenditure for the filing fees.
I'll make the motion to move forward.
I'll second.
Ryan, bring that mic to you when you talk. Okay, it's too far away yet.
Very good. Sorry, Mayor.
All right, motion by Councilor Vrtajnik, supported by Councilor Skirvik to have the city attorney. What are we doing? We're going to court?
I think the motion could just be to move forward with an enforcement action
On the cease and desist, or cease and desist paperwork. All right, move forward on that, authorizing you to move forward with that. Any more discussion? What's going on here, folks? We've stopped cease and desist on a high building up on the top of the hill. Everybody knows about that. A little bit too high for planning and zoning regulations, and we sent them through our city attorney ceased and desist, and it's been ignored. So we're pushing our attorney, authorizing him to move, enforcing that cease and desist a little bit stronger. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Anything else we need for Brian? Police chief teacher.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. A couple items. The first item I'd like to address is to go on the record is I will not be part of the closed session, is my understanding. You received a letter this afternoon from me. I'm sorry it took so long. It's been very hard to get accurate data due to us not having looking back at audit stuff. I can only go back as far as 2022. So my numbers are the best I can do given my position. I just want to go on the record that I certainly appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. It's very humbling. I've been here for 26 years and reminds me of why we do this job. I just want to go on the record that there's been some misinformation, I think, amongst the counselors. The first one is in regards to how much time our patrol cars are spending in the city of Biwabic. I did not provide the 36,000 pages of GPS data to show you where my patrol cars are every actually 12 seconds, not 15 seconds. So the belief that our squad cars are always in Biwabic, again, my statistics classes were not really highly structured, but I did take a sample that I felt was representative of the 36,000 pages to come up with those percentages. Secondly, in regards to that, we've been funding the Biwabic Police Department. If you looked at the numbers, I don't know if there's any questions on these numbers. We haven't quite funded the police department or the city of Biwabic, but we're getting close. Since 2017, I've addressed the councils every year about meeting with Biwabic and sitting down, and I will blame both cities for the lack of communication. It doesn't help. I've been your chief for 13 years. I'm on my 8th city administrator. That's one every 1.6 years. It's hard to have any type of consistency in a community when we have that kind of turnover. And I know Administrator Scrivich and myself, we have our moments and we have our discussions. He's coming into a very difficult situation because of what's happened in the past 6 or 7 years. We are $150,000 into Abdo trying to figure out our finances. And that's coming back to haunt us. My point for saying that is not that I'm trying to call anything out in regards to the lack of accounting over the past several years. It's the fact that we budgeted for an X amount of money. Biwabic's paying $338,000. If Biwabic pulls out of this contract, we're going to get the $338,000. This city, I do not believe, and again, I'm going off of numbers from 2022 because we have nothing updated since then. We're going to be out another $100,000. So we're paying the bills. I just want to go on the record. I've stated in this letter that I feel like that $438,000 is a good starting point. Keep in mind, it is not costing $438,000 to this community to provide patrol in Biwabic. You've seen the numbers. Again, I can't come in with exact numbers because our next hire could either be single, could be a family member, could have experience. But those are the three numbers I have. I took the middle number, which I feel is the best, and I added the other numbers in regards to the costs that are additional to Biwabic. The couple extra officers, your workman's comp is an additional $13,000. Legal fees are around $11,000 for prosecution. Now we do take in nearly $3,000, almost $4,000 in fines and forfeits from the city of Biwabic, and we keep all of those. So there is some differentiation that we would lose, but it still costs us more for legal fees. So I provide this to you. When you look at squad cars, the last 10 years from 1999 to 2008, we were approximately averaging 64,000 miles on our squads a year. When we took over and we went to Biwabic, there was an additional 38,000 miles on our patrol cars. I've kind of laid that out in this letter to show you that that's what the additional costs are. Our squad cars burn about 12.5 gallons. Get 12 and a half miles to the gallon. I think that might be a little higher now that we've moved to V6s, but I kept with that number just to keep it high. And that worked out to be, I believe it was, I don't remember how many gallons, it was 3,040 gallons of fuel at $9,697. So I kind of went on the high side also. I kind of laid out some of the questions in this letter. I think I laid out the best I can. Again, I said I was within $10,000. I think I'm within 5, but again, with the data I have, this is all I have to work with. I would try to provide this council with better numbers, but this is what I got. So I apologize if some of the numbers aren't as tight as they should be. So, so I don't know if this council have any questions in regards to this letter or any questions. I will not be part of the closed meeting, is my understanding. So I just want to put that on record. the reality is this: do I feel that the Gilbert citizens are at risk by us having the contract with Biwabic when our patrol cars in that community for 13% of the time? I would argue against it. We've had a handful of successful CPR resuscitations. We carry defibrillation devices. We also, again, our squad cars are fairly fast. If we need to get somewhere quick, we can generally get there pretty quick. I do not feel that there's any safety issues in regard to this town when our car is in Biwabic for that 13% of the time, because the odds are Biwabic has about 3 calls per day, and generally we don't have an officer over there. We average 1 call per shift, and that's usually on a Saturday or Sunday day shift. And very rarely do we have what we would consider a priority 1 or a code 3 call in the city of Gilbert, unless there's an accident of some sort at the HV Park. So I just want to make a statement that I do not believe that this community is in any risk by us having a patrol car over in Biwabic. The $100,000 to $120,000 that we receive if we get the contract for $430,000, keep in mind, as you see the numbers, is much more than what it costs the city of Gilbert to provide police coverage over in that town. So I just ask that this council consider that. And I think that I also put in there that I went over the last 10 years from our budget. The budget, I just want to put on record. In 2015, our budget was $827,000. In 2025, we were budgeted for 1.316. Keep in mind, we are not going to spend 1.316. We're receiving a $27,000 in excess of police and fire revenues, which is a great thing for us. And have been short 1 officer since June, so we are not spending as much money on benefits. We are spending money on overtime, but it will not exceed what the $30,000 that the officer would have made if he would have stayed working here. I just would like to, so the difference over that 10-year period is 37.2%. That's 3.7% over 2 years. If you take the additions and everything else, you can do it for yourselves. You guys are probably more savvy at numbers than I am. You can multiply that 3%, 3.7% from the 338, and you'll see yourself right around that 400, 450, 440, 430 range, depending on if you pull the income or not. The other thing is, Administrator Scribbage had indicated that there are some liabilities in the future for this police department with the 2 extra officers in Biwabic. He is correct. The odds of those 2 officers spending 25 years with this police department without moving on with the way the workforce is probably slim to none. However, we have to plan for that. Unfortunately, there is no plan in place. I've not been provided anything by the council to indicate what that plan would be. I would love to be involved with it if the city council wanted to look at something that putting some money away. The city is, because of all the turnover, we've never really had a plan in place. I know Administrator Scribbage has made comments several times about reserves. We need to look at building reserves up for these type of situations or for other city business. So I just want that on record, and I hope that the council will consider. And if there's any questions, I will have my cell phone on me, and I will try to answer any questions I may not have addressed. I feel like I've addressed things the best I can. I went on the high side of most things. So,
Taya, thank you for all that information. Plus, the letter was very good and informing. I appreciate that. Plus, one little thing you were missing in this whole thing, I want to let the people know that we are covered under 911 under mutual aid agreements with Evelyn and Virginia and Sheriff's Department, correct? So if you were over and something happened in Wabac, or something in 911 status happened here in Gilbert, we would have a mutual aid kick in and you would be covered if you couldn't break away. Correct?
As a percentage wise, we respond to more calls in Evelyn than Evelyn responds to us, but we rely very heavily on them, but we respond to Evelyn more often.
If you were over there and you couldn't get back here, they would come.
Mutual, yep. And we utilize mutual aid more than other agencies do because Evelyn usually has 2 officers on, so they can handle most domestics. Gilbert oftentimes only has 1 officer on, so we rely on Evelyn PD for mutual aid, or East Range Sheriff's Office, whoever's closer. The Sheriff's Office relies on us oftentimes for Biwabic Township generally because their squad cars could be 30 miles away. So
Would you say
there's not enough of us sometimes. Sometimes there's more than enough of us, and there's other times there's not enough of us.
We would be covered. That's just want to make that point.
Yes,
We would be
yeah,
covered.
anything major. And I'm usually home, so I've been called up from home. I've responded in jeans before.
Just
So
want to cover that point. We're covered either way.
yes, correct.
Anybody else got any questions for Ty?
Yeah, I do.
Councilor Ponce?
Why won't you be at the closed session?
I was not invited, and generally in the closed sessions, I was not invited. So usually it's the
Oh,
council, the
I was
administrator.
planning on being there.
Okay.
I don't know. Can we invite him?
Yeah, we can invite him. No, I didn't know he was not invited
Yeah.
either. I mean, we thought
I wasn't
we ought to
involved in
make
the
it
last
fun.
one, so I'm
Huh?
not going to ask to be invited if I'm not invited. So
You're invited. You're invited right now.
Right. Do we have the motion for that?
No, no.
Yeah.
well, then
No, I didn't know that you
I'll
weren't
save the
invited.
rest of my stuff for later. Then I guess when it's closed session. So
You're not, we
it's
didn't
off
know.
the record.
We thought automatically you were invited like the last time you were there. No.
Yeah.
You were there last time, correct?
I was not there.
You were there part of the time.
No, I was not.
One session.
When they closed, I left. I've not
Well,
been.
I'm not saying it closed, but one session, not met with that Bobby. You were there part of it.
Yes, I was part of that.
Okay.
Yep, but not the closed session last time.
Oh, anything else for Ty?
The second thing is there was a request to update about the 5 properties that we talked about condemning. Again, we're in the process of working on the deadline for the request for the 2 properties on Main Street. I did not get the deadline in. I was the first chief of police to ever submit a $2.5 million bonding bill for infrastructure due to City Hall being closed. So had a way to make that more of a priority than the 2 buildings. I will work on that for the next IRRB meeting. But there's still 3 other properties that I would ask that we look at condemning. I've spoken to the individual that does a lot of the enforcement over in Evelyn. He is $55 an hour approximately. He would anticipate about $5,000 from start to finish on these projects. However, we would have to make some major changes to the ordinances in order for him to have teeth to do that. So we'd have to work on ordinance. Probably just kind of follow what Evelyn has just developed in the last year, and then look at doing it that way. I know we've had a conversation with the city attorney too. It would be about $500 to up to $1,000 for the court process. So that's not a budget item. I don't know how. And again, then even if we condemn them, then we have to go through the process of tearing them down. And if we condemn them, we tear them down, we obviously can put the money towards against the taxes. But depending on what those costs are, will somebody pay $15,000 for a half acre, for a half lot or a lot? But if the wishes of the council are to clean the town up a little better, make it a little bit more aesthetically, I guess then that's something we can look at. I just need to know how much money do we have to spend to do this. I think we can get at least 1 or 2 of the buildings taken care of on Broadway through the IRRB grants. But each city is only eligible for up to $50,000. So, and there's no guarantee we'll get that much because there's a high request.
As we look at these ties, is there any potential, Brian, asking you if we can do this, is there any potential to go to the neighbors and see if there's interest in splitting that lot? Because that would make it easier to make that decision if we had somebody want it.
Do you want the police department to do that, or is that something the city should do?
I'm not suggesting that you would have to do it. I'm suggesting that it was something we could consider doing, and whether that's a good idea or not. So it's just brainstorming.
My opinion on this, all these need to come down, except for the one down here where the fire was. I think they're planning on fixing that up. I was told last time that they were planning on fixing that property. Other than that, all these other ones definitely have to go away. And I don't know, we have to acquire that land after 7 years, or what's going on? We've got to wait 7 years till we goes tax forfeit, or what?
It would be 7 years, correct? Yes.
Yeah. So,
Not a very successful journey. The county has all kinds of properties where they got demoed and no one ever paid the assessments that were made against the property. So it's kind of a waiting game. that's why I'm saying being proactive and talking to neighbors, seeing if they'd be interested in the property, might get us a lot farther than trying to wait 7 years.
And on tax forfeited properties, once you tear the buildings down, the cities, if it's in the city limits, we have to maintain those properties. So we'd be in charge of cutting the grass. Obviously, we could charge that to the properties, but the more times we add, $150 per mowing, the more the lot's going to go up to be able to pay back the taxes.
Yeah, what the council's trying to do is get rid of these 5 or 6 condemned buildings in the town. They're eyesores for the neighborhood, for the community, and they're dangerous safety-wise as well. And our hands are tied, kind of like, with the law. But we are trying to attempt to get these things taken down. So, and Ty and the police department and this council is trying to get that done. And we're going to keep on working on it. Council Skirvik.
So you mentioned that there needs to be some ordinance changes in order to have the teeth to be able to do this. So either Attorney Lindsay or Chief Teacher, can you talk to that? I'd be happy to help author those and help make those changes. But can you describe some of those things that need to be changed?
Most is to condemn the buildings, I believe. There's a process that we can bypass, and I think Evelyn has worked on it to try to streamline that. Is my understanding. I've had very little. The biggest thing is I would need a commitment from this council of how much money is the council willing to put forth for me to do this. Are you going to get, can I get $5,000 and we'll go and see how far that gets? 10,000. I know we do not have that in the budget for next year. I don't think either. So, what's this council willing to spend to take down these buildings? That's the biggest thing, because we may recover the costs, but it might be 20, 25 years from now. We're still going to be paying for that the next year. And one of the buildings is very large, so.
We have to know what the costs were to tear it down before we can make any decision on how much we're going to put out.
So we could condemn the buildings and they would just sit condemned, but then we could wait until we find funding. I guess I don't know what we could do.
We could get a bid on the tear downs.
So we could do that. That's the council directs me to that. I can have that done.
Specific to the ordinance, so are we talking about essentially we need to have legislation that talks about our ability to condemn properties? Is that what I'm hearing?
If I may.
Yes.
So what we would need is some additional provisions under our section. I think it's 93, dealing with public health and safety. We have some nuisance. We have a nuisance statute. We have some other provisions dealing with blighted properties, and then separate from that, there's state laws that lay out a couple of courses that a city can take to address blighted properties or dangerous conditions within the city. And I think if we incorporate, there's some ability for us to incorporate some of that state law and modify some of the provisions to make it a little bit stricter within the city of Gilbert. And so what we would need is some additional language or an additional ordinance in that health and public safety section of our ordinances. And I could put something together and send it around for everybody to look at if you'd like.
Yes, I would like that. If we can do that within the month, that would be great. Within November, before the end of November. Thank you.
I agree. One more thing on the safety issue with Ty. I don't know if anybody in Gilbert watches the TV of our last meeting or reads the minutes somewhere. I have approached the highway department, high officials, getting 2 lights on I-35 right where the intersection where the Holiday gas station is on both sides, asking them to consider putting lighting there and a pedestrian sign saying pedestrian crosswalk, because that is our only grocery store in town. And it's kind of dark in the winter at 4 or 5 o'clock, and even during I know they don't have any data on fatalities, and I hope they never do. I said, but there's been a lot of close calls, and it's a safety issue, and I would like them to consider it. And they said they would consider it and look at it, and if everything could be done, it would be done by next spring, but not any longer this year. So I'm glad. I feel positive that they're going to look at it and do something. I feel good about that. So let the people know that hopefully something be done, and if it's not, we're gonna put some more pressure on to get that done. But the folks that I talked to seemed positive that it could get something done by next summer. So,
Can I say something on that subject? Did we ever consider, you've got those speed limit signs in town that you're traveling at this speed, 29, 30, by the time you hit it, you're supposed to be going 30. I think if you put one of them just past Indiana, that would slow traffic down, because the traffic from Virginia is coming 60 miles an hour, and I know they're probably going 50 around the corner, and by the time they get to the intersection, I know they're not going 40. That's unsafe intersection.
Yeah.
So if you put one of those signs up there, you would probably slow traffic down, maybe to the 40 mile an hour limit that's there. But I know they're not going 40. When I find myself not going 40 there because of the, just the conditions of the hill and everything else.
So we can look at that. We have to get a permit from MnDOT because it's in MnDOT right away. The one issue is if the city, MnDOT will not pay for them because we don't have a power source there. Would be approximately $5,500 for a sign. So we'd have to put a battery with solar power for that sign. So they're about $5,500. So.
Just a thought.
Yep. If the city wants to budget for that, we can certainly work on the process of getting that going. I agree with you. I think the fastest I've had there's 102. So in my career. So.
What is the limit, the threshold for like what we can lower that speed limit to? Can we, or is it?
MnDOT will, we had, during the last reconstruction project of 135, I think the council, I think it was in 17 or 18, had made a request to move the 40 sign back towards Indiana Avenue. And MnDOT relies on crash data and their engineers, and they said that 30 miles an hour was too slow given the conditions because it's considered rural because of trees. And putting the 40 mile an hour or the 40 mile an hour zone back before Indiana Avenue was not conducive due to traffic data and crash data. I would argue that a little bit because that Indiana Avenue is kind of at an angle and you pull out, but they refuse to move it. So, and unless you can prove otherwise, it's pretty hard to get a speed change. They really rely heavily on traffic data.
But 40 miles an hour is as low as they'll go.
Right there is my understanding, yes. We couldn't even get the 40 mile an hour sign pushed back a quarter mile. So.
Yeah, we have the speed issue, but we also have the visibility of seeing somebody.
So I don't know if the budget committee wants to try to budget in $5,500 for a radar sign. I guess that's something we can look at too.
Well, we'll talk about that during our budget meetings, okay? But hopefully they'll put the lighting there. That's the 135. It actually shouldn't be our responsibility. Like at the end of Broadway, they got the 4. They put them up on our request during the Main Street projects and I-35 project.
Yeah.
So hopefully they kind of missed them ones up by the Holly, I think. So maybe they'll revisit that.
Yep. And the only other thing I have is under the this year's omnibus bill, the state legislator outlawed law enforcement from towing vehicles for parking tickets, for excessive parking tickets. Generally, if we had 5 unpaid parking tickets, we could tow and impound the vehicle and hold the vehicle until the parking tickets were taken care of. That changed, I believe it was June 1st of this year. It kind of took the power away from us. Next council meeting, I'll be bringing a bid to contract with a collections agency to see if we can start going that way. We'll lose a little bit of money on what we receive on our parking tickets, but at least it'll hold people responsible now. At least when people then pay 5 parking tickets, we usually have multiple violators. It's the same people because they live within our community, and they don't pay them. So this will give us a little bit of teeth to try to collect some of the money that we're losing on the parking citations. That's all I have. And calendar parking starts next week.
Yeah. All right. Mike, you didn't have nothing from the fire chief, did you, for us?
Everything I have is.
Oh, okay.
So if you read my
thought I saw something, but
Yeah, it was just the meeting minutes.
meeting minutes, okay. Okay, city engineer's not here, public works not here, campground host, library. I know Sue is here, library. Go ahead, Sue, welcome.
Hi, Mayor, Council, Sue DeVos, Gilbert Public Library. I've got happy notes. Friday, Halloween, trick or treat all day at the library. Even some grown-ups can come. Fun stuff. We have been awarded the state park pass so that you can take out the state park pass with your library card, and it's good for a week. So that you can go to any state park with your car, and it's all year round. A lot of people know this. Some people know that we have also acquired a pass for the Great Lakes Aquarium. Same thing. Your library card will get you a pass for up to 5 people. Little kids under 3 are not counted. They're in free. And when you go there, it's free for you. So we can take up to 5 people. And what nobody knows yet is that Cook Country Connection is our next pass. With a library card, you can go to Cook Country Connection. That takes 4 people. And all that's free for you. You can have that for your library card. You'll just turn in your pass to the people there. We have a concert coming up at Broadview Manor, free again. And this will be in the end of the second week of November. We have a community outreach going on with Lisa Flanagan from Northern Insurance Brokers on November 8 and November 15 in the auditorium from 10 to 4. And she will help anybody who is experiencing the loss of their insurance of UCare, and will help you understand what's going on and help you get or learn about the new insurances available to you, and help you, well, either sign up or learn the ins and outs of what you want to choose from. And that's all. It's all free, so it's all offered to you through the Gilbert Library. And my library board would like a summary of the budget up to this point, so I know where I stand. And that's it.
Mike,
Any questions?
you can get her that. Clerk will get you that for your board, okay? And thank you for all that information. You got a lot of things going on.
We always do, and it's always free.
Now the public knows. All right. Any questions by the council for Sue? Again, thank you for all you do over there.
Welcome.
Yeah. First responders, city clerk.
My only request is that somebody make a motion to move our meeting from November 11th to the 12th, because Veterans Day is on the 11th.
Yes, we need to do that. So is everybody good for Wednesday the 12th?
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by
Second.
Councilor Bertochnik to approve the next regular council meeting, not the next regular council meeting. That's not that is the next one, yeah.
It is.
Well, I'm thinking the number 4 thing, yeah. Next regular council meeting from November 11th, which is Veterans Day, and moving into November 12th. At the same time, 5 and 6 o'clock for working session, correct? And regular meeting too, working session and regular meeting, 5 and 6. Just shift. Any more discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Anything else? Oh, clerk. No?
That's it.
All right. Well, at this time, I'm going to take up When was we get them, that labor contract meetings of 11-3 and 11-4 out of the way right now, under clerk's business here? Okay, well, yeah.
And
Oh,
that
yeah.
Carl, so
All right, that's right.
we can
yeah.
wait on those.
All right, nothing else for you, Mike?
That's it.
Anybody got any questions for Mike other than what we have on our agenda? All right, moving on to old business. Campground rate discussion, we talked about it at our working session. I'm okay with the proposal and if you're ready to vote on it tonight, what's the council's wishes? I'm okay to approve the proposals as they're given to us. Are we ready to vote on it, or you want to?
I guess if anybody makes a motion too, I'd like to know which of the firewood things we talked about, A or B, and the second one seemed to be more equitable.
Which one?
The second one, option B.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adopt the new campground rates for 2026 with the firewood provision of option D, you said? B. Yeah, I don't pay attention on that, but the rates and everything seem appropriate and necessary, and I'm okay with that for 2026.
The mayor stepped off the chair and made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Council Patton has seconded the motion. Is there discussion? No discussion?
Before you take a vote, I want everyone to realize Paul is going to recuse himself from this because he owns a campground, and so he's not going to vote on this issue, so it's up to the rest of you.
Council Patton.
So we're doing option 2. Okay. I just want, well, I think this paperwork's in the back so the community can see how much we're changing the rates. It's an average about 8% increase. Just letting the people know what we're doing. That's all.
Any more discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? One abstinent? Abstain. Four votes for? None against? Motion passes. Chair's turn back to the mayor.
Council Skrbic abstained.
Abstain. Correct.
All right. Thank you. Approval of community center bid advancement.
So we worked with SEH on this project and contracted them to do the engineering, which was required by the IRRB for us to advance the project. We've been working on the plan for many months now, and we're at the bidding stage. The plan is like 95% complete. I gave everybody a copy of it. I think as they brought the plan together, we've come up with some locating of units and ductwork in a more efficient manner than we originally started with. Another thing that everyone should be made aware of is we could have a need for electrical changes over there that we initially didn't anticipate, but now that they're looking at things, we might have to bring in a different service to accommodate the air makeup that is now a code that wasn't a code 30 years ago. So that could be part of the deal, but we need to advance the deal. We've already approved the contract. This is just the final plan. We want to get it out to bid so we can bid it in December and then move forward with the project. So we need an approval or a motion to advance with the bidding process on this project.
I recommend we go out for bids and get that thing ready to go, the clerk ready to go for November, December.
I'll go ahead and move that we go to bids for the community center project.
Moved by Councilor Skrbic. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Vrtajcik to approve clerk to go out and SCH to go out for bids for our community center project of about $1 million in state funding that we received with no conditions, no no match. That's very good. Very good find. Yeah.
And for those in the audience, just to clarify, so what this project will do is it'll allow us to upgrade the heating and cooling system. So heating system, there's like 3 or 4 different zones, I believe.
Correct.
And same thing with air conditioning, as well as we will be getting an ADA compliant bathroom in the downstairs and bringing the building up to code. So, and again, this is all with grant money, so there's no, unless it goes over budget, there's no expense to the city of Gilbert.
Correct.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. All right, new business, Kangas fence permit.
I took a ride by there and talked to the individual, and it all seems to be in order. So I'll make a motion to approve the Kansas fence permit.
Support.
Motion by Councilor Vrtajek, supported by Councilor Skirbeck to approve the Kangas fence permit. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Cop fence permit.
I also took a ride by there, and I can see why the fence would be going up. And it's mainly just to keep their dogs in their yard. And I'll make a motion to approve that fence permit.
Support.
Moved by Councilor Vrtajek, supported by Councilor Skirbeck to approve the cop fence permit. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Now the rink attendant hiring for Patrick.
We're gonna table that.
I'm gonna table that.
Yep, we're gonna post that up first, so.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't need a motion to table, we're just gonna skip it, all right? Okay, Abadu payroll accounting proposal.
There's a proposal in the packet. We signed one last year with them in October. It's a new year. They're doing our payroll processing, and they're also doing our forensic accounting, basically, to figure out and untangle the ball of yarn for the audits that we're working on. So that's what they've been doing for us, and we need to get through this process, and I'm asking for the council to make a motion to approve that for this year.
And you're recommending it as well?
I am.
Yeah, all right. All right, the clerk recommends that the council go ahead with that Abadu payroll accounting proposal. Somebody want to make a motion to approve that? I'll step off the chair and make a proof. I trust our clerk in his decision that they're doing a fine job. I've come in here late this year, and but I have to trust my department heads, and that's what I continue will do as mayor.
Yeah, I'll second it.
The mayor stepped off the chair and made a proposal to accept the bid. Been seconded by Councilor Potenon. Is there any discussion?
I just have a question about the system, not
Sure.
knowing how it works. Does, with us having moved to this now, so my understanding is basically every employee tracks their time and things like this. Does it have the ability, when they're putting in their time, for specific type of job categories, like cutting grass or, cemetery work, or do we have the ability
Although
to?
it can be coded in a multitude of ways, we are not completely set up to do that at this time. If we want to advance towards being able to do better coding, I would probably reach out to them and see what kind of technology that we could use to make that painless, instead of having it be a big book report.
Because I know certainly several of us have asked questions about, like, how is time allocated throughout the city, not to micromanage, but to get an idea for how much resources we're spending on specific tasks.
Absolutely.
It helps us with the budget planning. And I just think if we're already going and using an automated system, let's see how we can improve it so that we can get better numbers and better information.
I'd be willing to reach out to Leah Davis there and see what she has to say about that, as we move forward. So I think it's a great idea. You know, historically, other places I've worked, we've had better mechanisms in place for tracking some of those things. And I think it would be beneficial for us to know where the time is being spent.
In conjunction with that, I know that we put forth some forms to fill out that, to know where what they're doing and when they're doing it and how much time it takes to do that. An example is grass cutting for the summer. I mean, if we're having our regular employees do simple grass cutting, I mean, and we hire part-timers, I think it's a better use of our time and money, that we can have somebody fix a street, fix a pothole, take care of a curb, fix a broken sidewalk, and just have the part-timers do that. So we've asked for that. We've requested paperwork on getting that, and there's many times we don't receive it. So if we could put together a system that says that this is when you put in your time, and this is how you're gonna get paid, and if you don't put that in, you just, I guess you won't get paid. So that way we'll know where the money is going and how much we're spending on either part-timers, if we need one part-timer, two part-timers. Because cutting grass in the summer isn't a very skilled job. I think most people can do it. So I think a part-timer would be better to do that, and with his part-time, I think by having Public Works people tell us what they're gonna do, when they're gonna do it, then we can better allocate our money and resources to it. So I would support that issue, definitely.
Well, we got a motion, I stepped up the chair, got a motion on to approve this thing first.
Is there any more discussion? Hearing no more discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mayor gets the chair back.
All right, thank you, Counselor Bertoshnik. I don't know, I seen some hand up there, but I wasn't running the meeting at that time. Well, I'll let you say something on that, but it's already been passed, but go ahead.
Still gonna talk though, because apparently people aren't listening. So again, we talked about
This earlier about how the contract is all, you know, the payroll and stuff is getting messed up from this thing. How are they gonna make sure that the PD, the fire department, all of them don't keep getting screwed in the long run? That's their livelihood you're messing with. Why wouldn't you guys table it and look into other options?
Because we worked with paychecks before, and the system was in absolute ruins, and we are way farther ahead than we were at that point in time. And the council understands there are some difficulties with the way our contracts are written. As we go into negotiations, we'll be doing our best to streamline those things. But nobody has not been paid here, Joe. Not ever.
Well, it's not that they're
Everyone's
not
been
getting paid, it's that they have to keep coming to you and talking to you about how they're not getting their overtime.
How would you like to resolve it when there's a problem? Do you think
Well, I think you should talk to
me?
Ty and
They
listen
do.
to what he has to say.
No, in fact, we have worked with them, and they have talked to Ty, and instead of having everybody talk to them, they are supposed to go through Ty. Ty's aware of that, and things have been taken care of, and people are getting paid. There's nobody that hasn't been paid, and the efficiency and the work being done now is significantly better than the work done before. This is gonna move forward a step at a time, and the problem took years and years to create, and I inherited it, so we're doing our very best to fix it.
But it
And
costs the
that's where
city a
we're at.
lot more money than it should. So how do we
No,
fix
you
that?
don't- No, that's not accurate at all.
All right,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Polis, yeah. I believe, Mike, you'll talk to Abdu and understand some of the things issues that have been brought to light here, and
We have been on a continuous improvement process since this was initiated, and I think we're in a much better place than we used to be.
okay.
So we'll continue to work for advancing that and going down the trail and taking care of everything. They're very responsive when we have an issue, and they haven't held us up from taking care of those things.
Okay, I'm okay with that information. I trust that it'll be done correctly with your guidance, and talking with Abadu if there's any issues. And we want to make sure that everybody gets paid and paid on time and paid what they're obligated to get. All right, KC gambling permit here from the Gilbert Knights of Columbus. I will be abstaining on here because I am a member of Knights of Columbus, and I know I don't have to, but I'm going to abstain. So I hope the council approves these bingo permits for 2026. 4 dates as almost an annual thing here.
Man, it's just normal that we approve it, and they
Right.
made the request. I just would like to get the paperwork taken care of as soon as we can.
That's right, yeah. So, if somebody want to move on approving this?
Paperwork looks like it's in order. I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the dates that they are requesting for bingo.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by Councilor Ponton to approve the Gilbert Knights of Columbus, Council number 5031 for the 4 dates in gambling bingo in 2026, listed on the permit. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All abstain. Mayor abstains. Motion carries 4-0 and abstain. All right, now approve the council meetings for labor contract discussion. Open meetings of 11/13, 11/3, and 11/4 of next week at 6 o'clock. Monday and Tuesday at 11/3 and 11/4 at 6 o'clock. We discussed that working session.
But they're not open meetings.
These are closed
They're
meetings?
not open meetings.
Labor negotiation.
It's labor negotiation.
So they're closed meetings then?
Yeah, right,
But we do have to let the public know that we're having them.
yeah.
Okay, closed meetings. All right, we gonna make a motion on that?
I will go ahead and make the motion that we have labor meetings on November 3rd, November 4th, both at 6 o'clock.
And they're closed just for the council, correct?
Yes, and the closed sessions.
Any more discussion? Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by the mayor to have these meetings. Any more discussion?
Give a second. Oh, you're the second?
Yeah.
You're abstained. Oh, no, that was the last one.
That was the last one.
My bad.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I believe we're done, no miscellaneous announcements anymore there. And we're into the motion to suspend this meeting and go into closed session, and then return back and take action or no action. Take action of some kind of yes or no, or table. We're gonna go into closed meeting for discussion on the Wabic police contract. So somebody wanna make a motion to suspend this meeting?
I'll make the motion to suspend the normal meeting for a closed session.
Moved by Councilor Bertosnik, supported by
I'll support it.
Councilor Redpenning to suspend this meeting at 7:33 or 7:35? 7:32. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We're suspended to closed session, and we will return. All right, and reconvene the regular Gilbert City Council meeting of 10/28/25 at 9:01. Let the record show all the councilors are present as at the beginning of the regular meeting. And we just got out of closed session, and with that closed session, I make a motion that the city of Gilbert approve the counter proposal given that meets the amount of monetary with some of the other additions, in language that we proposed, we agreed to in the language, back to them to agree upon. But the monetary issue, we agree with City of Wabac. Is that for 2 years? Yeah.
The mayor has stepped up the chair to make a motion. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Chair's given back to the mayor.
Thank you. Now we can make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Councilor Bertocci, supported by Councilor Skripek to adjourn the meeting at 9:02. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Good night. We're adjourned.